What's going on, people? Welcome to the United Stand and welcome to Mr. James Cooper once again. How you doing?
Another nice location. You seem to
Another nice location.
You seem to get these locations.
Yes, I think we skipped the interview in China because it was so difficult.
They were nice to do it. What a horrible country.
Yes, exactly. Look, we're over here in Den Haag at the minute. We've got to talk Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I speak to the fans every week. It is split. I'm surprised with how split it is so quickly. We spoke in the summer about how difficult a job it could be. And he's receiving a lot of criticism. Maybe not from some of the ex-pros like you would have thought, maybe so. But what's your view of the job so far? And did you think it would be like this?
No, it's really hard, isn't it? We're at the same sort of state we were with Moyes almost as quickly, Van Gaal not as quickly, and Jose, obviously it took a lot longer. But we're back there. It's like deja vu. It's almost a curse. The more money that Manchester United spend and throw at a problem, the worse things seem to get. I was optimistic in the sense that I thought the pre-season was really good. I thought they worked really hard. I think perhaps the problems, and I don't want to lay this all at Jose Mourinho's doors, but I think maybe the players weren't fit enough going into a brutal pre-season. And now they've done that brutal pre-season, look fantastic playing with it, so you get that kind of complete buzz from working hard. But now all the injuries are muscle injuries. And you kind of look at that and think maybe they will work too hard from no fitness base. Or maybe just simply Ole doesn't have any luck. He doesn't look like a lucky manager to me either. You know, some managers are lucky. You look at someone like Sven back in the day. Sir Alex had a lot of luck. There are managers who, whether they believe in luck or not, can be perceived to be lucky. And at the moment, Ole's not lucky. And certainly the number of injuries would tell that story. And I just think it's hard to see a way out of it right now. And I think that's the way a lot of Manchester United fans feel. I know there's an awful lot, obviously, of kind of hero worship and loyalty towards Ole. But it's hard to know how this story goes and where we go with it. You know, we're sitting here in The Hague thinking that it's a reality or maybe a chance that Manchester United might get beaten by Alkmaar tonight, which sounds an incredible thing to say.
Which these guys are watching this probably on Saturday, but the result of that, if we have lost by then,
I've blown it already.
It could be out the door.
I'm just an amateur when it comes to broadcasting. I haven't a clue how these things work.
I hear what you're saying about the injuries because look, we didn't reinvest in a load of key areas, so we knew.
Yeah, but having said that, it was that transfer window was a good start, and I think you probably agree it was a good start. It just wasn't the complete job.
No,
and you kind of think, well, Sanchez, he's starting to do the same things he did at Manchester United, bearing in mind his performance the other night. Lukaku goes and just leaves you in a situation where you've got a guy who scored 40 goals, more than 40 goals over 2 seasons, and you've not plugged that gap. And you've got 3 guys who do similar things. Mason Greenwood is 17. He can't be relied upon every game. That's just not fair. He has grown. He's a big guy now. Marcus Rashford has never scored tons of goals. Scores in fits and starts. Likewise with Martial. But they all have the pace, the touch, but nothing physical. And you kind of think, how on earth are Manchester United in this situation when we know the money that's been spent and they haven't got a proper number 9?
Do you think that Ole's helping himself, though, in terms of, okay, we're light. And maybe Ole looked at it and thought, do you know what? I don't really care. I'd rather go and struggle without Sanchez and Lukaku if they don't want to be here. He said the other day in the presser, what's the point in having players here if they don't want to be here? But with what he's got, is he showing enough? Is he showing the direction that he's saying is there? Is he showing a change of playing style? Is he showing that he's tactically aware during games? Is he picking the right starting 11s? And I know you can say he's not because obviously we're not getting the right results at the minute, but do you think he's doing enough to help himself away from
It's a really fun one because you can't say with hand on heart that they've got a definitive style of play. They started to press at the start of the season. They looked fitter, and I told you they'd be fitter and stronger. And they aren't. They're breaking down. The press has gone. The energy seems to have gone. I thought they gave a little bit more against Arsenal. I thought he gave a little bit more on the touchline. I think there were some instances where you see him and his coaches on the touchline kind of not doing anything.
Before the Arsenal game, I think it was
Rochdale, they kind of stand there and don't do anything. You don't know whether that's because they haven't got the answers or because they're worried that it is going so wrong. There's not an identity at the moment. And again, I don't want to lay everything at Jose Mourinho's door because it's very easy to do. But the situation with Sanchez, you look at that. I mean, I thought it was a risk worth taking, but the problem that caused in terms of disharmony in the dressing room, in terms of players wanting bigger money. We've seen De Gea get a new contract. We've seen Lindelof get a new contract. That's all off the back of the money they were paying Sanchez. But I think 9 players I think, since Ollie arrived, maybe 8 plus Chris Smalling was slightly before, have got new contracts in the last 12 months. And you look at some of those things and you think, should they really be on long-term deals? And why are they long-term deals? The club would say because they want to protect the value of the player. Well, some of those players who've signed new deals, I don't think would attract key interest from big clubs around Europe.
A lot of fans are talking about many of our players. The endeavour's there, the grit is there. They want to play for it. They're not down in tools, but they're not good enough. A lot of people are saying, wouldn't Andreas Pereira get anywhere in his city?
That's a fair comment, yeah.
So why is it okay for us? Are these youngsters or these players that we're renewing, are they actually that good?
Yeah, it's a really hard one, and I don't think I can give you a kind of firm answer on that. I'd like to think the potential is there. We've seen flashes. If I can change on the head and make this sound like a bit of a fudge of an answer, what I have seen and what Manchester United lack is leaders. But you look at Axel Tuanzebe and you look at Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay scores a goal there that you thought Paul Pogba should be scoring. Yeah. Fantastic goal, and he has got that drive. He has got that leadership. He's very young, but I think he's got real potential. Likewise with Axel Tuanzebe, we're talking about a guy that played left back for the first time in his career.
Really well.
Hasn't played it at any other level. Yeah. I mean, there's question marks about why he's been pitched in against Arsenal to do that.
Yes.
That's a deeper question. Yeah. And it's just a shame he made the mistake, because other than that, I thought he was impeccable. So there are kind of bright shoots of positivity there, but I just don't know how long this is going to last for you guys. I don't know how long you're going to be looking at this kind of thinking, not only are we going to get in the top 4, but are we going to get in top 6?
Oh, we definitely won't make top 4, James.
You know, it's...
I can't see it.
I think top 6 might be a struggle, but there's another argument. We sat there last night saying maybe Manchester United at the moment don't need European football. I mean, I think if you ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now, he wouldn't give you an honest answer on it. No. But do you really want to be playing Alkmaar tonight on a plastic pitch where you might have more injuries, you might have players carrying injuries that are going to get worse, when really all your eggs are in the Newcastle basket, getting a win there, hopefully, and maybe steadying the ship a little? They don't need this.
Especially with how threadbare the squad is and with the injuries we've got. You're right, it does come at a bad time. With how Ollie's being perceived and criticised amongst fans. I know fans have a very harsh opinion and will literally say what they want, and I know it's different.
But a lot of them still say patient. Be
yes,
patient.
A lot of them are.
And that's because of the goodwill that they have towards them.
Absolutely.
I know that, yeah.
And that is one thing that we have said on this channel when we've been exploring over the last couple of weeks when it has kind of turned. I've been literally meeting fans after games and interviewing them, and they're saying, listen, relax, trust the process. We've had all these managers in this amount of time. What's going to change if we sack Ollie tomorrow? And then there are other people who are literally gone, I cannot see a vision with this manager. Brendan Rodgers has been at Leicester for a matter of a few months, and you can clearly see in a style of play. You could argue that they've got maybe some better players in areas.
That's an amazing thing to say, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean, right? You know? But you can see a style of play. Some people, James, have even said to me, you look at Norwich, you can see a style of play.
As an Ipswich fan, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that at all. It's the green and yellow all over the stadium. When we got there yesterday, they're down where they're playing. We're Alkmaar playing. I can't be dealing with it. And the guy who scores the equaliser against Rochdale asked, are you a red or a blue? Luke Matheson says, I'm a yellow. I said, no, you're not. Seriously, please don't be a yellow, because we can't do an interview. But sorry.
Yeah. There you go. So, but what I'm saying is people can see a style of play with these managers, and some people are arguing that they can't see a style of play with Ollie. Do you think that ex-pros or some pundits, do you think that they're maybe trying to stay away from it or seeing it from a different angle? Where do you think?
I think it's really hard. I think
on?
It's really hard, and take it away from kind of football. A lot of these guys were really chummy with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the ones that weren't chummy with him still admire the fact that he scored important goals for Manchester United and gave everything in a Manchester United shirt. So if they didn't like him or weren't really close to him, they had a massive respect for him. And I think that's where the problem lies here. I think what you do here is a lot of people criticising the process or criticising people upstairs or the structure of the football club and not really looking at Ollie at the moment, which means I guess he gets a little bit of a free ride. But it is hard. You know, I wouldn't like to come out and be given the job of criticising a friend or somebody that I thought had been a really big part of a dressing room that I played in. But I think
it's difficult though. If that's your job, though.
Correct. Yeah, no, you're right. But I think unless things really improve very quickly, I think we are going to see that, because I think you can't pretend something isn't happening when it is.
You can go on like that.
You know, equally, win against Alkmaar, win against Newcastle, don't lose against Liverpool.
Yeah, that's the key.
I mean, that's the one I think, the kind of big elephant in the room. I don't think really anybody cares about Alkmaar tonight. They don't want to get beaten, of course, Manchester United fans. They want to tick off another place they've never been to.
Yeah, and in the
Europe.
context of Europa League, you come here, get a draw, or just don't get beat. In the context of the group
and you
stage,
probably
it's
win your
fine,
home games in that group, and you're
exactly.
through.
But you're right, it's not about
Newcastle, there's a lot of pressure there because
Massive.
you'd expect to win against Newcastle, but everyone's worried about that game against Liverpool because they just score goals.
Yeah.
They look special, and they're where, this is a horrible thing to say, and David Moyes said it before I did, they're where Manchester United want to be. And again, who'd have thought that?
With it's very difficult. What's happened at Spurs at the minute? Pochettino is very unsettled. United obviously backing Ollie to the cows come home. Want to give him the time. We know the feeling that they're putting out. They're fully behind the man. Would it put United in a really difficult position should Pochettino become available at some stage during the season, or even at the end if we did get top 6 but Pochettino became available? Would that turn a few heads at Old Trafford?
I think it's an interesting one. I think there are players, there are managers who are available who'd want to step in. I think if you offered Allegri the chance of being Manchester United manager with some backing and resource, I think he'd probably go for that. And I think the fact that Jose came and did the job in similar circumstances, I think it shows it has got an appeal. I think Poch is a little bit different. I mean, my dealings with him have been over the last couple of summers on tour, and just a fantastic guy, a guy who's respected by people from Harry Kane all the way down through the dressing room to the coaching staff, and everybody at Tottenham Hotspur loves this guy. And he has a way, again, of making good players better, great players even greater. There's clearly a disconnect there.
Do you think that's down to him in terms of doubting his credentials as a manager? Maybe or do you think it's like he's reached the ceiling with Spurs?
I think it's difficult. I think, it's hard going into that stadium. I know the cameraman's an Arsenal fan, and I know he won't give it any credit whatsoever, but that stadium is incredible. It's like a spaceship has landed in that part of London. So I think
Josh calls it a toilet.
It was beholden on him, I think, to stay this season and be there when this whole kind of new project started. But I think there is an argument to say that coaches do have a kind of shelf life with a team. And you look at the back four, a lot of the players would be better than what play for Manchester United at the moment, but still it's an ageing back four. And I think he has got back to a stage where, maybe he's accepted that Spurs won't or can't win something major. And maybe that's what's in his mind. He wants to go somewhere that a player could. It was interesting here, not to change the subject at all. Juan Mata talked about this yesterday. He said, I'm confident I can still win something big.
Yeah, and if he can get that, it would be amazing.
And that was an amazing thing to say.
Do you believe him, though?
Well, I don't think he tells lies, but I can't see it.
No,
absolutely not. I suppose it depends what your
He's
definition...
talking Champions League or Premier League.
Well, it depends what your definition of major is, I suppose.
Well, to be fair, he downplayed the other ones they had won, knowing that it wasn't. So he's obviously thinking it's got to be the Premier League and it has to be Champions League. We're miles off.
But I think you want your players saying things like that, and I think he does have a real sort of kind of sense of belonging.
He
at
definitely
Manchester
want
United,
to do that, obviously.
And clearly being Spanish, he'd love Poch there. And Poch would be a fantastic fit. He really would. But I'd love to stay here and give you a crystal ball thing and say that it's going to last this long and this is what's going to happen. No one knows at the moment. I think part of that is because there doesn't seem to be a vision. So I can't tell you what's being envisioned.
Basically, just saying like, what is the vision? Yeah, exactly.
It goes from game to game, and we are in the same territory they were with Moyes, Mourinho, and Van Gaal, where everything is just on the next game. The next game.
Do you think Ollie will get more time because he's a legend?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Is that right?
I don't know if it's right or not. I think Manchester United fans would probably say it's right because of everything he achieved for your football club. You're wearing that shirt there that's inspired by '99. He's got his name written large over that.
But is that, and that's where like the sentiment versus the sense, the reason, is that enough? Was that enough to have got him into this position? Someone said to me behind me at the West Ham game, he knows who he is. It's Flex. I don't go on camera, I don't talk about all these things, but if he didn't stick his leg out in '99, would he be our manager? That's what he said to me.
I think he did more than that.
I know, I thought that was a bit hard.
Yeah. I think he did a lot more than that. But
he's the best sub ever in the Premier League.
But I think it does. I think you're right. That one goal does give you an awful lot of goodwill.
Yeah.
I think there's a question of how bad things need to get.
Yeah, that's the
to kind of make something different happen.
What would be a catastrophe? Like 15th. Like, okay, we need to make a change, or 10th.
But I think, this is just my thought on it. It's certainly not. Say they lose against Alkmaar. Say they don't win against Newcastle, and it's not a great performance, or they scrap to a draw. And say they get absolutely humped by Liverpool at Old Trafford. Then I think it's very hard seeing a way out then. You know, it really is. And you know, the questions are starting to get a little bit tougher in press conferences. He was asked yesterday about the away record, you know, not winning since the last 9.
Unbelievable.
You know, and I made the point this morning that it's okay not winning your away games if you're winning your games at Old Trafford, because traditionally, of course, half your games are at home and half games are away, but you're not winning at Old Trafford either.
Exactly.
So the whole thing becomes really problematic, and he didn't like that question.
I think at Simon he said, you always talk about concerns, always... I was Simon rubbing it in. But
well, no, but I mean, you know, it was a politely worded question in the sense that, you know, I think Manchester United fans would probably have asked it, is it really good enough, rather than have you got concerns?
Exactly.
So there is an element where I think we all want it to succeed in the room, and that doesn't mean that we're fudging the issue, and that doesn't mean we're not asking the questions. But there is goodwill towards him. But I think there's a couple of things here. I don't think the guys in the media liked the fact that he said he doesn't read the papers. I think that was an interesting thing for him to say.
He must see something.
I don't think it's a wise thing for a manager of Manchester United to kind of take on the media when there's so many in that room that have known him for a long time.
Exactly.
And I don't think he's quite doing that, but sometimes some of the answers don't make an awful lot of sense to me.
I know you've got to go, so the 2 quick questions. The second to last question is, structurally, above Ollie, you know, people talk about managers coming in and all this. We've had all these failed managers in the last 6 years. I think it was Gary Neville who actually said there's going to be a point where the finger's going to go to Ed Woodward, or the people appointing these managers, and what it is above board. We haven't seen any change in that. Arsenal themselves, they changed it up there. New director of footballing, obviously new manager, they changed it up there. They did a little bit with the owners as well, and they're seeing different style of recruitment, etc., etc. Is there any? Do you think they have any genuine plans for Man United to do that, or are they literally as happy as they say they are?
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, I know the Glazer family are very happy with the job financially that's being done, and you can't deny that that's, you know, a great job. And people really get bored of me saying that, and I can understand that too, because what's going to happen a little bit, they're going to fall off a cliff at the end of this season, because I think that Europa League football there's a chance of that, but you don't make a great deal of money in the Europa League. You make a little bit, not like the Champions League. So those record revenues are going to be down by 70 million. And
if
plus,
they're in Europe for another season.
Yeah, and plus the Adidas deal means less. So you're starting to see that huge amount of money not dwindling, because it's still a massive amount of money, but not record revenue. So you start thinking, well, they're not doing it on the pitch, they're not doing it off the pitch. I think the other problem is they're not accountable. The Glazer family never have been. You know, the one thing I think, if you ask every Manchester United journalist that follows the club, what do you want most? A chat with somebody from the Glazer family. And that's been the same way since 2005 to 2019. So we don't really know what they're thinking. You know, we know they enjoy investing in the club. You know, enjoy taking investment out of the club. We know they've backed the managers in terms of what they've spent, but we don't know what their plan is. And you know, I find it odd that sometimes they're still here and they haven't seen an opportunity to think we've had enough of this.
Yeah,
you know, in terms of being constructive and what should happen. I mean, I think Ollie, if they're going to go with Ollie full term, long term, call it what you like, I think he needs a lot more help in the coaching. I think he needs stronger voices around him. Now, they brought a guy called Martin Pertin, and I was speaking to a couple of people about him this morning, you know, and he's into sports science. He's done a lot of things with strength and conditioning, which is what United need at the moment. So it might be they're starting to improve the recruitment there. You know, we've seen the goalkeeping coach leave and not be replaced. That kind of speaks for itself as well, I think. I like Mike Phelan, and I like Kieran McKenna, and I like Michael Carrick. All of them work well together.
But are they challenging Ollie? In that dressing room, or when they're sitting down doing tactics, is Michael Carrick going to go, no, Mason Greenwood does have to start, Rashford's out of form?
I sit here and hope those conversations do happen. They don't. And I'm not sure they do. And I would like somebody alongside him, not only challenge him, but also help him say, look, let's do this. Because, you know, if you watch it game in, game out, I can't tell you what the strategy is. I can't tell you what sort of team Manchester United are.
As good as anyone.
You know, that's never been the case as far as I can see. You know, you knew exactly what was happening even with Moyes, and certainly with Van Gaal, and definitely with Jose Mourinho. It might have been not nice to watch at times,
but you could see it clear.
You knew what the plan was and what the coach was trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, James, January is going to be upon us in a couple of months. Ollie's already spoke about, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out who need a striker after they didn't want one when they knew Lukaku and Sanchez were going to leave. Are United going to do something uncharacteristic and spend heavily?
I think the hard thing is getting what you want. And I don't mean to again put it at kind of Ollie's door when he said, look, you know, we couldn't get the person that we wanted, so we didn't get anyone. I'm not sure I quite believe in that sort of thing. I think he could have got somebody who could have done a job. But
definitely.
Let's give him the respect that Manchester United manager deserves. I think in terms of, it's really hard getting value, and it's also difficult added to that everyone in the market knows Manchester United want a striker, so you're going to pay a lot in fees, or more than you would.
Yeah.
Say it's Mandzukic.
Yeah.
Juventus might want a little bit more than they would have wanted. He'll want a lot more wages than he would have wanted. I'm told that what he wanted, and why he didn't come in the summer, he wanted a new contract with Juventus. That didn't happen.
So now he's like,
now he's
actually,
not
I will
playing.
come to.
Yeah, so
You know, and again,
but he's not playing.
Graveyard for these
He's
players.
not playing for Sarri. He might not play until January. So you've got a
So what
striker.
sort of striker? It could be like a Higuain.
Yeah, correct. and you wouldn't see the best out of him. But I can see the logic in bringing someone like him. I can see what he does. And, you know, but I think they also need this creative midfielder as well.
Unbelievable. You know, we need a creative midfielder, and you look at Pogba, who you would think would be our most creative midfielder, playing CDM, playing just in front of the back. I don't understand.
You know, and I know there's so much clamour around him because of who he is. But what would hurt me as a Manchester United fan, if I was a Manchester United fan, was just the lack of identity and lack of leadership on that football pitch. And I'm wondering why, you know, Paul Pogba doesn't provide that. And that's not having a go at him. If he's not comfortable being a leader, but I'm sure, you know, the Rochdale game, he played okay. I'm not sure why he didn't take a penalty. That was the key.
I said that after my match reaction. A lot of people didn't really care, but I'm like,
step up.
Yeah. You know, I thought he might have gone fifth to try and take the limelight, something, and finish
something
it off.
like that. I mean, all credit to those guys in that pressure situation who took those penalties, especially someone like Andreas Pereira, who you know the United crowd are very edgy about.
Yes,
he tucks his penalty away, and you think, wow, that was a strength of character. But it's that lack of leadership. And as I say, I think the bright signs are the likes of Twanzebe and Scott McTominay. But if you're talking about two players coming through the academy after all the money that's been spent, there are serious problems, aren't there?
Apparently we've got like a whole load of investment.
I wish it was happy. I really, honestly wish it was happy.
I know, mate. I know. Hopefully, in a few years when we do speak, we'll be celebrating league titles for United and cup finals and Europe.
It's just hard. It's just hard. You know, it must be hard just to see a way out at the moment. I think
it is. It is. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. I'm
Lovely
sorry
to see you.
keep you. I know you're so busy today.
And I'm sorry for talking about Spurs as well. And saying it was nice, all right, you know. But
hey, he could be on it.
He can't say a word. That's the beauty of cameraman. He's absolutely done now.
Guys, drop your views in the comments in the boxes below about everything me and James have just discussed. Obviously, you always know where he is. You're not really big on social media or anything like that.
I don't do that. No, I don't do it. I think because I would get obsessed with it if I did it. and I don't see enough of my family anyway. So I just think, you know, when you're there, just that. And I just don't like the people that generally...
A lot of trolls on there.
That's my big problem. That's my big problem. I think if you are on it, don't read the stuff. I think probably.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
you know where to find James. Keep watching him on Sky Sports News, as you have been for the last 20 odd years.
God, it seems like even longer than that. Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching. Peace.
Big thank you to you guys for watching the latest of our videos, and if you want to check out more, make sure you do that just to the right of me. We are the biggest and best Manchester United channel in the world. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials as well: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. The socials are along the bottom. Peace.